All right, all right. Take a look at this VOD. This is Genji, Masters Genji on Colosseo. Comp looks good. Enemy comp looks cancer as always. Let's see how this is going to work. All right. Do you have any questions about like this game, about things that you would want me to focus on more or less?
I was kind of like working on like my aggression this game, like just like trying to go in more, like my uptime and stuff.
Okay. All right. So now let me ask you, what times would you go in? When would you go in?
Like when like attention is off me and like cooldowns are used,
Okay.
or if I just see something like low.
Okay, so if you see something low, attention's off you and cooldowns are used, all right? What times would you not go in?
Probably poking phase and like just like when uh like I have all the attention,
Okay, okay.
like stuff like that.
All right. Generally speaking, those are kind of going to be the core basics of like when you would want to go in and when you would not. I'm just saying this because there are different triggers. There's a lot of these important triggers that you need to be looking for in terms of engages, and when those triggers
Mm.
are not met, it is okay to be AFK and do nothing, right? And that's kind of a problem that a lot of people have, where they have, they think that needs to be doing everything, doing something all the time, all the time, all the time. No, no, you don't need to be doing something all the time. You need to be doing something when you have the reasonable capability to. It's okay to be doing things. You just need to make sure that you're not giving the enemies opportunities and windows to punish you, right? So we're going to be looking at that. We're going to be looking at like what these triggers are, and we're going to be trying to see how you respond to them a little bit. Okay. Okay. All right. So first things first. We're gonna talk. We're gonna start talking about the first trigger here, right?
Yep.
Do you think that it's a good idea to go in on this Doomfist in this venture right now?
Uh, Based on the consensus that their supports aren't really looking at them, sure. Like, yeah.
Yeah. How far away is the rest of their team right now?
Uh, Quite far enough to not really bother them right now.
Exactly. This is really, really poor staging on the Doom and the Ventures part. Poor timing as well, right? They went way too close, way too quick. This is something that you can punish. If you can simplify the fight in terms of like, oh, these guys have really, really poor staging. They're kind of like putting way too far. Their team isn't able to help them in a reasonable time frame. Then yeah, that's going to be your first trigger as like okay, I have the ability to kind of go in, so I'm just going to go and hard press W, right? And this is totally fine. Okay, now, you know what? I'll save that for later when it becomes a little bit more relevant. Like now. Okay, now let me ask you this, right? How far away is your team now?
Yeah, I'm kind of far away from them.
So what trigger are you giving the enemy team right now?
Uh, Me using dash,
Right, right,
and
right.
I'm kind of vulnerable to
Now,
everyone.
okay, here's the deal. When I talk about, I talk about timing and staging like pretty, tight knit together a lot of the time because they really are. They're kind of the same concept broken down into parts, right? But
Mm.
it's I always talk about it. I always talk about this. The timing and staging of when where exactly and when exactly you want to go in and do things is based a lot upon distance, right? And more importantly, kind of the distance it's going to take and the time associated that it takes for someone to move into the fight and out of the fight, respectively in certain situations and locations, right?
Yeah.
Now, generally speaking, I say that the timing for going in, right, is going to be kind of added onto the timing for it is going to be like dependent on how close and your team is to the enemy team right now, and your team is really really close to this Doomfist, right? And you are really really close to this enemy team. So to be honest, it's kind of even. It's kind of one for one. The problem though is that this is where that kind of idea of staging breaks down, where you're a little bit you don't have to be here, right? The enemy team already has an inability to be able to help this Doomfist out, so you kind of pushing out into them is only making the trade 1-for-1 and even, number one. And number two, this is a Doomfist. He is kind of designed to do this. Genji is not as much, right? So having four people's aggression onto you doesn't really, sound a lot of fun. So when you're kind of thinking about this, especially when people kind of rush and someone dives in the backline, right? You're thinking, oh, I need to do things. I need to do things. Hold on a second. You ask yourself, what space matters here, right? Okay, so if we're talking about types of space over here, we've got this kind of space out here that's like separated by this choke, and then we've got this space into the enemy team's territory out over here, right? If we're talking about what space matters, Doomfist is in our space, and we have the ability to hold and control this space and stop them from progressing up and taking the angles that we want because we can hold them at these chokes over here, right? So this Doomfist can die if we hold and stop them from moving. The problem is that you engaged into them, and this means that this makes it allows them to kind of get off angles in their effective range on you, right? Thus putting you in a danger, and thus making this Doomfist trade worth something, right? So where do you think that you should be holding here if you want to stop the enemy team from contributing to this helping this Doomfist, but you also don't want to overextend?
Probably just where my diva's standing. 'Cause
Where
it's
your
just,
diva's standing.
yeah,
Okay. Why though?
cover. And if they just walk through, then I can just angle and shoot them.
Right. It's cover. If they walk through, you can kind of angle and shoot them. But also, this is kind of the boundary. If you can see the imaginary line that's drawn from the different types of spaces here, right? Where Doomfist is kind of over here out in this area. These guys cannot get line of sight on that Doomfist until they, kind of pass this line, and start doing things. So if we can just stop them from getting through this line, then we don't have to extend far enough to the point where these guys can just punish us because we're too far away from our back line. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. So that's you kind of went in, you took a big chunk of your HP off, and you forced and your deflect got forced. Now your diva also kind of went in like an idiot too. You kind of baited her in, and I will say that their Sombra did die, but that's again more on a mistake on the Sombra's part, realistically, than a kind of a really good play from you in this diva. So this is just something that I need to that we're going to be looking at, right? Knowing exactly what space matters, right? And tying that in with when do we want to do something. Okay. Again, is this a trigger?
Yeah, because looks like my Lucio's about to die on
Right.
him. So
Right. Like I don't care about, if your Lucio or whatever is able to die. This Venture is standing here alone right in front of your team when her team is all the way back here.
oh yeah, right.
Or their
The
team.
distance.
Right. The distance is super, super far. Right. So, of course, this is killable. We can kind of just eat this alive without these guys really being able to do much of anything at all. So this is generally going to be like the easiest thing to do ever, right? So Venture's going to have to get forced out here, and it gets cleared out easily and for free, right? That's kind of the triggers that you want to be looking for. Okay. Now I want you to look at this situation. Is you taking this space up here bad?
I don't think so. Or I think it's just
Yeah.
taking space.
Right. But why don't you think that taking this space up here is that bad?
Because maybe if they want to walk down, like from where I'm currently standing, like I can just hold it.
Right. Like this is holdable. This is sustainable for you because this is kind of your space, right? This is space that feels a little bit more comfortable. It's kind of vertical. You have a little bit of cover. They're going to be getting into your effective range if you walk up a little bit here, right? So this feels kind of comfortable, at least to a small degree, right? This is somewhere where you can force a trade, decently well. Now my question is, where do you stop?
Probably just the wall, like where my diva's standing. Just
Right,
like,
right. Like you don't want to go out here, and do you kind of understand why you don't want to go out here?
No cover if I do go out there.
Right. No cover. Even if you were using this cover right here, what's the real issue with this?
Like it's just like it's not really effective for me to get damaged through here, and
Right.
like I'll just get poked out.
Right. And why is it not effective for you to get damage through here? And why are you going to get poked out? What's the big concept here?
I'm just not close enough to
You're not
them.
close enough, right? You don't
Yeah,
have the ability to kind of force your effective range. And that's how you want to be seeing these different types of spaces and where you want to kind of go and where you want to stop. Here is a space where you can force your effective range. So I can, kind of take this and be fine with it. Over here, I cannot. So this is my trigger to stop going in, right? I've claimed
yeah.
this space. I'm chill. The second thing that you need to look at is where your team is. Now your team is kind of taking space on cart here, but they're quickly about to be taking a lot of space out this way, right? So if let's say if my Lucio and Reaper end up right here, like around this gelato truck right here, right? If these guys start walking on you and this diva, what can the Lucio and Reaper do from here?
Walk maybe up the stairs and like
Right. Forget walking, like wall ride up here, teleport up here, and start shooting people in the
oh yeah,
back.
yeah, I forgot they had those abilities.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So like they can close this gap, and then they can start, actually going in and fighting things and doing things in spaces that feel more comfortable for them. Because like a Lucio, like sitting here is totally fine. Like a Reaper, like here, right? Even just kind of generally around this area. Right, these guys can kind of force their effective range a little bit from positions like these, at least using the cover, to their advantage. Right, it's not perfect, but it's still better for like a Reaper and a Lucio, right? So
Yeah.
these guys have the ability to hit them back. So if these guys hit you, you can hit back. Now, if the Reaper and Lucio are back here, which they are currently, and the enemy team starts pushing onto you, what's the problem with that? What's the problem with this?
Like it's probably just not good. Or wait, can I get a repeat?
Okay, right. So if they're here, if the Lucio and the Reaper are here, right, and the enemy team pushes onto you, right, they can hit them back. If the Lucio and Reaper are back here, the enemy team pushes onto you. Can they realistically hit them back, at least from an angle
No.
that's going to be strong? No, right? So this would be way too far, and what that would mean is that you would be way too close. You're way too accessible to the enemy team, and then these guys aren't. Now, they are probably going to be taking space out here, but until they do, this is a bit early, but it makes sense, right? Because you're stopping them from taking this space early. So this is fine, right? This doesn't become fine, though, if these guys just sit here and stay here. So if you see them staying back here, what is that your cue to do?
Probably maybe back with them, like even if it's a worse position, because like
Right.
it'd be rough to take that position.
Right. Again, you're playing Genji. You can high ground's pretty much as free for you as gravity is. Like you can drop down here, right? Just chill for a minute. If they come back up, you can wall climb up and start fighting people immediately, right? So it's not necessarily that bad of a thing to kind of drop off right now. So that's fine. It's just you have to make sure that you're understanding that your team is going to be the source of your timing right now. If they swing out, then you can stay. If they don't swing out anytime soon, you're going to have to back off, right? So let's see what kind of happens. They kind of went up and did things, right? Or at least your Reaper did. Now, your Reaper kind of went in a bit early, but it means that you kind of can do whatever damage that you want to do. Your Diva screwed up, though, by leaving, right? Diva definitely should have stayed. But you kind of see how this doesn't feel like you're going to get cleared out, instantly right now, right? So you're able to do some damage. Okay, right?
I think I
Now,
stayed for a little bit too long.
right. And what kind of cues you in on the fact that you stayed a little bit too long?
See my Reaper running.
Yeah, you
I
see
think I
your
just kept
Reaper.
shooting.
Right, you see your Reaper running, you see
Damn.
you didn't see this, but again, your Lucio and your Kiriko kind of backed off. It's hard to kind of do, but you need to have a general sense of where your teammates are kind of at all times, because that's going to be what's going to tell you when you're going in, when you're falling back. So you need to have that kind of ability to kind of open your perspective a little bit. The second kind of thing that's a little iffy about this is the fact that you kind of rotated around through up here, because this is a bit cheaty, right? Like you have this angle, you can hold this angle to at least a decent degree. Just keep dealing damage here, at least just pressure and stop them from taking the space for free. And I think that you're doing fine. That's you doing your job. Rotating out here makes it a little bit easier for them to clear you out, right? So this would be something that you would do if you had a really, really good, good window to do it. Right now you do have deflect, right? So you can use this to force Suzu, deflect, and walk out. So this is not horrible. It's just that you get hacked right here, right? So this is something that you need to watch out for. Reaper backs out, your backline backs out. So right now, reasonably speaking, you're overextended now,
Yeah.
right? Time frame's going to swap quick, especially if you're getting like more into like the GM champion side of things. Like the times are going to be really, really fast, right? You need to be able to react to this in time. Okay? Okay. Is this time to go in right now?
I'm just kind of W keying right now.
Yeah, you're kind of W keying, right? Now, I'm not going to say that this is horrible. And the reason why I'm not going to say this is horrible is because your Reaper apparently just killed 2, right? Not only that, he's got a decent off angle to pull attention back this way. Your Diva's with you. So in this situation, if we look at the distances here, right? Are you really too close right now?
If I keep W keying, yeah, but if I just hold like the pillar, then I
Right.
don't think that would be bad.
Right. So again, you're going in, you see that you're an opportunity to kind of go in, but you got to have that discipline of being able to wait, let my Reaper and my Diva start getting closer, and then I start getting closer too. Right? That's your cue. Which you do. And now your Diva's in. So now you should be going into. Don't tunnel. Don't tunnel. Go for the Doomfist. He's easy. He's there. Right? I know you want to kill the squishy, you want to kill the squishy Sombra. Damage onto the Doomfist is going to be just as important. Alright? Alright. See, you kind of miss out on that opportunity there. Right? Team gets back, though. This is fine. Timing.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, is the Doomfist close? Yeah,
Yeah.
but what space matters? Is it this? Can they do anything to your team from here?
No. Or no, not really.
Not
Or
really. Not to
well,
a
they have
significant
that.
degree. They can poke,
Yeah,
but
they can.
they can't commit, right? There's no way that they can force your team into a situation where they have no space and they have to die, right? From a distance like this. They can still poke, but they can't control all of your team space. What position are they going to get to where they are going to have that ability? What positions?
Probably just walking down and
Walking
then
down
to the
here,
pillar.
right?
Yeah.
Here. So where should you be?
Holding like probably like bottom, like
Right? Here, kind of bottom-ish
yeah,
area here, right? And just making sure that these guys don't get this space for free. You get what I mean? Right.
yeah,
Now,
like
if you're
holding
yeah,
space.
yeah. So now if your team walks up to over here, then is this fine?
Yeah, or if I can engage them,
Right.
like commit on them.
Right. But that's what you need to be looking for. Where's my team? At what space is my team? How far away is my team? Am I close enough to go in? Right. I kind of talk about this concept a lot when it comes to tank players, right? And talking about playing on their leash, right? But tank players kind of need to be treated like dogs sometimes. But the thing is, like, you need to kind of know exactly how far away can I reasonably extend away from my team to kind of go in to contest people before it becomes too far. This is a little bit too far right now because again, we're still playing back here behind this way. My diva starts running up this way, then this makes sense, right? But my diva's not there yet, so too close, too quick. You get me?
Like in game, do I just like think like where my team is playing?
Right.
Sort of like
Right.
okay.
You just check where team is playing. Think about where team is playing. Right. You can use audio cues a little bit, but if you have the time frame, check visual cues, right? And then wait for the distance. Wait for them to inch up. Then I go. Wait for them to get closer. Then I go. If the rest of the enemy team is like sitting back over this way, then it means that yeah, no, I can just kind of climb up here right now if I want to. Why? Because my distance from the average center of the enemy team, the core of the enemy team, is going to be equal to that of my diva. So if a majority of these guys that you were fighting up here, like let's say if the I don't know, maybe the Kiriko and the Juno were both back here, and maybe Sombra was down here or something like that, and it was just Venture up here, then yeah, fighting up here is totally fine because their resources are going to be elsewhere. Right? But if all of their resources are right here, then you're getting way too close to the center of their team. You got what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. Right? So too close, too quick, end up dying for it. This Doomfist is getting on my nerves. Right? Okay. Even still, even with the value that this Doomfist got, this guy is hyper overextending. Look at where the rest of his team is, right? Like the Venture's in spawn, the Juno's all the way back here, Kiri's back here, Sombra, like none of his teammates are even in the same time zone at this point. And Doomfist is deciding to kind of like hard int onto your team right now, right? So this is just, huh?
He gets away with it. Yeah, he gets away with it.
He gets away with it, then that's just an egregious mechanical misplay on your team's part, because this should not be possible. Wow.
Yeah, he gets like
Wow.
on like
Whoa.
4 HP.
Wow, that's crazy. 9 HP.
9.
Well, but this is okay. This is okay, because the Doomfist has no cooldowns, and he's low HP, and he completely kited all the space, so it means that all the space that you're going to get is pretty much going to be for free right now, right? So, yeah, we cleared out this Doomfist. Does that mean that we go straight into the enemy team's backline?
Yeah, I think, like...
No,
I mean,
not
if
yet.
it's low... Like,
not yet. What do we need to do first? What do we need to make sure that happens first, right? We need to clear out the space. We need to clear out this, get this staging over here, make sure that this angle is clear. Or if you're over here on this side, which you're not, but like imagining if you were over here on the side, making sure that the space is clear, waiting for your team to come up, then we go, right? Hold on to that, because the value that you're going to get from literally just walking up and taking space is going to be pretty much equivalent to the value that you're going to get trading into the enemy backline. You're just building up your pressure potential by taking all of this space and setting up this angle, right? You're building up, you're kind of compressing, like charging up your ability to apply pressure, and then once the time frame hits, bam, 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 you know? Kill like 3 people, right? That's what we want to do. We don't need to always be doing things, as long as we're kind of building ourselves up to the point where things matter. Right? Okay, this EMP is awful. This Kitsune is awful. Your diva just ended way too early, too quick. Man, I am sorry. This is egregious. And this is supposed to be Masters. Alright.
Well, it's rank inflation, so, you know what?
I mean, yeah. I kind of get it. Right? But this is fine. But again, I think you're a little bit too focused on, uh-oh, things are happening. I need to do things now. No. Clear the space first. What's on this angle? What's over here? Oh, there's a Sombra here. Let me push this out. Let me go up here, right? Maybe Venture's going to come up and I'm push her out. Or maybe I'm going to be up here, and then once I get up here, I'm going to wait. Is my team there? Is like, can I go in? Is there significant attention that's off me? If that's the case, then I'll go in after this Juno. right? Only after you do all of those checklists are you then able to go and get the value. Why? Because if you don't do those, if you skip the steps, you're giving the enemy opportunities to be able to punish you. Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm kind of seeing the pattern. Like I'm just like tunnel visioning. I'm like DPSing.
Right. It's no brain. Oh my goodness! Talking about no brain, this Doomfist is like physically hurting me. Right, like that's really hurting me. Okay. And then clear that. Then your team's gonna clear. See, exactly what I mean. Now it's a lot easier to do. This decision is a lot easier to make here because the enemy team is kind of not really accessible, and like you kind of can feel the difference between spaces here, right? Where it's like, but again, I sit over here. I don't go and overextend. I just chill. I wait for the Juno, not the Juno. Oh my goodness, the Venture to be cleared, and then once they're cleared, I can once my teammates come back up, right? I can start going in and start taking space that I want, right? It's that simple. It's just that this is kind of you doing it on instinct because, you've always done it this way on this side of the point, right? I want you to do it all the time, every single time, right? Okay. Now, again, let me kind of ask you this question then, right? Ignoring Venture for now. Between going and diving this Kiriko or going and diving this Juno and the Sombra, which one are you going to choose?
Juno and Sombra, because I think Reaper's there, and
Okay. Let me just tell you this. It was a trick question.
okay.
Either one. The reason why either one is fine is because they're both pretty much at the same distance. I think not Juno, Kiriko's maybe slightly out of dash distance, right? But that distance is going to change in like 0.2 seconds anyway, right? They're both pretty much at similar distances. And so if that's the case, anything that you do right now is going to have pretty much equivalent value, right? If I go in and help my Reaper with fighting these guys, right? Sure, I could probably make some of these kills a lot faster, but then this Kiriko stays safe, and then she can just come back here and heal and pocket them, right? If I go over here and I force Kiriko cooldowns, sure, I'm forcing Kiriko cooldowns and stopping her from doing much, but then also, my Reaper is kind of taking a 1v2 in this scenario, so maybe he deals a lot less damage, right? Either way, there's going to be drawbacks and benefits to both, but the way that this game works is that the pressure is going to kind of circle around back to affecting every single player in the lobby anyway, right? Because everything's so interconnected. So at this point, it doesn't really matter. All that matters is that you're doing and applying the easiest pressure possible, and that's what, you have to look to distance for, right? See, this is totally fine. You just need to make sure that you live. Right? Totally fine. Okay. Right. Now, let me ask you kind of a little bit of something here. When you have Blade, right? What is your cue? What do you think your trigger is to Blade when you're going to pop Blade?
There's like cooldowns used like Kiri, Suzu, or like a Bap Lamp, and I just killed Kiri, so like it would be kind of opportune.
Okay.
And I was like trying to see if Venture used Shift, something like that. Yeah.
Okay. Now, let me ask you this. Is there going to be a situation where using Blade to force out those cooldowns first is going to be okay?
Oh yeah, if my team can follow up on it.
Right. If your team can follow up on it. That's the key thing here. When it comes to the timing of the Blade, there's kind of two things that you want to look for, and then that's going to be one of them, right? The second thing that you're going to want to look for is, are they in a space that I can use my Blade on, right? Or do I have the resources to be able to kind of make sure that that doesn't matter? Like if it's a nano blade, then like, I can kind of extend and play kind of a little bit more open or something like that. Or if it's like a Wu Yang ult or a beat, right? I can kind of extend a little bit. But if it's just like a naked blade, I would need to make sure that the enemy team is playing in a space that I can pop blade at safely. Is the enemy team kind of playing in a situation where I can kind of be safe using my blade right now?
Well, there's like a lot of there's it's like two med kits or like hmm
I mean, I'd say it's
like
kind of
it's
okay. I'd say it's kind of okay. Right. Like I think that realistically speaking, you have the ability to kind of cut off LOS. Like if you're pushing Sombra, right? If you're pushing, climb up here. If you're pushing Venture, and I don't even need to say anything about Juno. So, right. Like you've got that kind of, you know, what should we call it down? You've kind of got the space a little bit to a slight degree, right? Plus your entire team is here, so there's that, right? Now, again, that's the first thing. The second thing is distance, right? How close is your team right now to the enemy team?
they're close, but I'm
Right,
quite far, so
right. You're a little bit far,
or like yeah,
right?
a little farther.
You can kind of extend the distance. You can kind of close the distance pretty reasonably here, right? But your team is quite close. Like you have Lucio speed. Like I think that it should be fine, right? Your team is quite close. Their team is close too, right? So because of the fact that you guys are so close to each other, these guys are gonna have a really hard time kiting out of your blade, right? Like a very hard time kiting out of your blade, right? And so that's the kind of the cue that you want to look for, right? Can my team follow up, right? Are they in a space that I can actually throw blade in, and or are they at a distance where I can kite it, or where they can kite it? If the answer is no to the kiting, and the answer is yes to the other two, then pop the blade. Those are your cues there, right? Do you have those cues here? Yeah, it's still a little iffy because you're a little bit low, but so I can acknowledge you waiting a little bit first. But like, if you wanted to pop blade here, how would you do it?
Depends on which like I don't know if Venture used shift, but like I would probably go for it because Sombra is kind of like hard to blade most of the time. Or I would, if I could, I would probably go Juno if I could, but
Okay, right. So let me just kind of say this, right? So you see how like Sombra has a button that she can use to get away from you and your blade. Venture has a button she can use to get away from your blade. Juno has some buttons that she can use to try, right?
yeah.
So then how are you going to like how are you going to essentially make those buttons obsolete, right? How can you what can you do against that?
Probably like forcing them out initially, or like,
Okay, so
or just getting closer.
right. So it's like I'm on top of the Sombra, right? I use my blade on top of the Sombra. I start swinging at the Sombra, right? She teleports out. What tool do I have to kind of chase her and get the value back?
Dash. If I don't
Dash.
slash dash combo.
Right. So if you can get over here and save your dash, right, then it means that you're probably going to have a better chance of being able to confirm the kills on these targets. So how are you going to kind of get there? How are you going to close the distance?
Probably dash and then pop blade and then
Right, but
swing, or
you
just
kind of
walk up a
you
little.
don't have dash right now, right?
Oh yeah, then probably just walk forward.
Right. I would walk, try and wall climb up here, and then kind of pop blade from right here. I think that would be kind of the way that you would do it. I don't want to get into the venture ult or like walk straight in front of the direction where they're already chucking damage. So I would want to make a slight off angle by using my verticality and then pop blade here, right? Then I can walk on them with the blade. They're gonna use their cooldowns, and then I'll chase afterwards with my dash. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. But right now, I don't think you pop the blade, which ends up being okay-ish, but it's going to drag this fight out. Okay, no, and it ends up being fine. You guys just end up popping the beat for it, which I don't really like the fact that you popped the beat for it, but I mean, like, whatever. Imagine if you died there. That's crazy. Okay. Is this Sombra at a distance where she can reasonably kill your team
Nah.
and confirm kills? No, right? So what does this achieve?
Uh, 8 second wait, or just like make her run away.
Right. 8 second wait, and also you're giving up space. So now it's going to be harder for you to kind of apply pressure up here and get up here fast enough, right? Now, are there going to be times where you're going to be able to peel against the Sombra? Definitely, sure. But again, what would what do you think the triggers would be? What do you think the triggers of that would be?
Like if she was like fully committing, but like she wasn't. She was
Right.
kind of poking.
Okay. If she was fully committing, so like let's say if she was like right here on your team, right? That's one thing. Now, what other trigger would you need though to make sure that you can actually do this?
If I'm in distance.
Right. Right. So if I'm all the way over here and there's a Sombra in my backline, I don't care about the Sombra in my backline, right? Like that's not in my render distance. I've been using that terminology now, the Minecraft terminology, kind of to talk about where exactly my attention should be. But that's not in my render distance, so I'm not going to be worrying about that. I don't even know that that exists at this point, right? I'm going to be focusing on what's right in front of me. Now, if I'm right here and the Sombra literally goes boo right behind me, right? I'm in a position to do something. There's nothing else for me to do. There's nothing closer for me to do. So I might as well, right?
Yeah.
But you have to wait for that distance, and you have to wait for her to get the distance she wants to. Those are the cues. It's gonna be the same kind of cues over and over again. The only times you're gonna commit is when your team is close, and when you can get close, right, and to a reasonable degree. Oof, your D.Va still did not get Mac. That's crazy. Okay. Okay. What do we think about the blade here?
I did not know where anyone was at this time, and I just kind of saw Kiri pop
Okay.
CZ, so I was like,
Okay.
I just kind of, yeah, it was kind of a bad blade. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Before we kind of
Like,
think about bad blade, right? How close is your team?
oh, they're pretty close.
Right? How close are you to the enemy team?
I'm on the Kiri.
You're
Doom.
like right on top of her face, right? You have the opportunity to kind of force a lot of cooldowns of value out of the Kiriko, out of the Doomfist right here, right? And let me ask you this: are you still going to have your dash after this blade animation's ended?
Yeah.
Yeah, so then you're going to be able to extend even further into their backline too once that's done. I don't think that this is a bad blade, right? Right? I just think that it was executed poorly, right? Because then what should have been your next order of business after killing the carry?
Yeah, I probably should have swung at Doom.
Just swing at Doom. Yeah. Then before you just dash blindly into backline, what should you probably do?
Wait, what? Like,
yeah, like assuming you cleared the Doom out already, before you just dash blindly into backline, like what should you probably do?
Probably deflect or clear or just dash.
Right. Okay. I'm just saying, let's just like walk, just get some information first, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to make it too complicated, but just, walk, get some information first, kind of make sure that you can confirm the kills, that you're in the distance that you need to be, and then that should be fine, right? Okay, but you kind of executed that poorly. Was the idea bad? No, I don't think the idea was bad at all. I think that that's actually a perfect opportunity to use an ultimate because you just lost your tank, right? So making sure that you have the potential to kind of trade that fight even is totally fine. Problem is that you just executed that poorly, and it happens. But, hopefully it just doesn't happen the next time. This Doomfist is aggravating me to no end. That aggravates me to no end. Just do it. Just clear this guy out. Why are you ignoring him? He's right here. He's going to do things to your team. Don't be squishy-minded. Don't be squishy-minded. Like, oh yeah, let me kill these squishies. The squishies are important. No. Dealing damage to this is going to force this out. Once that's forced out, your team is going to be able to take more space. Once they take more space, they're going to be able to clear out things like this a lot easier and this a lot easier, which is going to give you the staging that you need to kill squishies. Shooting at tank kills squishies, right? You need to be like, this is totally fine. What you should be shooting at is what is easiest for you to shoot at, because all of the value is going to come back to you in the end anyway. So the more value you can get overall is just going to be the better, right? Okay? Right? Now, why is it so hard for you to kind of 1v1 this Kiriko right now? Well, because their Doom is taking a whole bunch of attention from your team right now. If he wasn't taking a whole bunch of attention, if you hit a whole bunch of damage onto him, I'm not saying that you would, but like hypothetically, of course, could this D.Va and Reaper just kind of come up in here and help you? Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Right? But that's kind of something that you need to think about. It's sometimes trying to go for the squishies instead of the tank is making the squishies harder to kill. So you need to kind of think about that as well, right? But this is your space, right? Now, what happens, though, is that she's getting absolutely helped like crazy. This more feels like a mechanical thing, right? This feels like I'm starting to lose out on the trade here, but I'm just going to go in hard commit because I think I can hit the diff, right? Probably should have dashed out, but again, you did get really close to killing her. It's just that that's a Kiriko, so it's not going to be fun, right? I would probably avoid just hard committing in situations like that on a Kiriko because this hero is broken. Right. But you did get close. You did get really close, realistically. So, the idea was okay. It wasn't perfect, but it was okay. Nice. Okay. Okay. Nice. Ooh. Okay. What's the problem?
Tank's walking to our backline.
Right. Right. So what would be your higher priority right now?
Probably turning around and going for Doom or the Venture also kind
Right.
of in there.
Because these guys are close. You going out here, you're kind of having to extend for the space here, which is not only hard to do, but it's also going to make your backline easier to kill. And the backline being dead or forced out means that you get less help up here, which means it's harder for you to do things, right? So this is iffy. Your team gets the picks though, but I don't like it. I still just don't like it. Come. Right. Okay. What do you think is the problem with your staging right now?
I'm so far.
So far away, right? But we're like, hold up, wait a minute, Andrometa. I thought being too close was a problem. Being too close was a problem. So now I'm not close anymore, so that's fine, right? But then what happens to your team? What does that make your team? It makes them too close. So now they're taking the 3v5, right? To be honest, also because your Reaper's not staged properly either. And he shouldn't even be on this side at all. I'm going to be real, right? So they're taking the 3v5, right? And now you're not contributing at all to the fight when you need to be. So this is the other side of staging, is making sure that you're close enough that you can actually get value. Right? Nice. But your team's already kind of cooked. Come. Does your team lock in here? No, they don't.
I don't know. Okay. I think we lose everyone but our tank. Okay, there we go.
Don't care. That was fine. Again, right? This is kind of cheating again. You're really wanting to go for that rotation to extend to the backline, right? Stark over here with the Venture is poking you out on your rotation. Now, is this absolutely horrible? Do you absolutely need to kind of give this guy attention? No, because this is kind of difficult. But again, your staging, if you had just like kind of chilled up here and held up here, again, since you do have Blade, right? Once like that beat comes out, you can dash up, get Blade value off of here if you need to, right? But then this position stops the Venture from just being able to walk in and press W and do whatever she wants, right? Because then at least you're going to be in position to be able to kind of punish it or threaten it if things kind of go south. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Right? That's fine. That dash is not, right? Because this is like, again, now that you are over here, this then becomes too far. So now that you're extending all the way back over it, you might as well not. Right? If you make your bed, you gotta lie in it. Beat comes out, EMP goes out. And again, you're kind of walking through main here. Right? Like you didn't, because of the fact that you kind of dashed back, you don't have the necessary staging. Imagine if you were still here, you could just dash up here, pop blade right now. Right? Okay, that's good. That's good. W. W. Right? Really, really good from you. Really, really good from you. Very clean. If I kind of pull it back, you live this. All right, dash that back. But again, she's close. Fight's happening. So I'm just going to go on shoot at the thing that's close. Right? Now, you did dash through the Doomfist. I don't know if you saw the Doomfist or not. If I kind of look at that. I don't think you saw the Doomfist at all, realistically, because he only like just barely got into your screen, so I'm not going to believe you for that. But then you kind of went to the next closest thing, and you're like, okay, now let me do damage to this. And this is also in my space, so I can extend for this, right? Right, and then this comes right to my face, right? So I'm like, okay, I'll just deal with this. And then things start shooting at me, but I'm like, oh, you know, I can probably, my turn's over, right? I can chill. So now you just walk up. And then, oh, look at that. That's cool. Right? Right? That was close. All right. But, you know, that was cool. That was cool. That was comfortable. It was fine. Right? What about this venture? Do you think we can go for this venture right now?
Yeah, as long as the brig doesn't get, like, distance, like, too close.
Right. Now, the thing is, if I had asked you this without kind of zooming out, would you have been able to tell me the answer?
Nah, I think I would have just shifted into venture.
Right. So this is kind of like, this is another thing where it's just you need to build the habit of kind of checking back where the heck is my team before I start really making, you know, big decisions like this. Because I need to know if I have the ability to kind of go in for this. Right? I need that information. I need that confirmation. But this is totally fine to go for this venture now. Why? Because you got 3 people on you. Okay. Wow. This was dumb.
Dude, I saw that. I couldn't believe it. Like, I could have sworn I just saw a Reaper, like, right next to me.
Right. Yeah, I know. That TP... How did that TP... I don't think he meant for it to go that far. Oh, he got booped out of that. Okay, no, that makes a lot more sense. That makes a lot more sense. All right, that was just like that was poorly set up, but like that was kind of, she hit the mechanical play. He tried to hit a skill check. She kind of, you know, hit the mechanical play at that point. Like she won the skill check. He flipped the coin. I mean, whatever. It happens. Things like that happen. This is fine. This is pretty disciplined. Can I go for this? Can I extend for this? Yes, because my team is there. My team is fighting things. Right? So all I need to do is just live. Right? If I can live, then this is fine. W. Okay. Now, I know that your team is kind of dying here. Fight's still happening. Your team's still in. Right? I like, fight ain't over till it's over. Right. Right. But I mean, you did get healed up a little bit, so this is okay. Right. That was probably poorly mechanically done. Right, because you kind of just dashed right onto the venture as opposed to like dashing up the wall using the wall climb. Right, that would probably have been a little bit more better micro-wise, but the idea of going onto this venture is still kind of fine. Because, again, she's close, and your team's in. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
But, mechanically poor. This is fine. This is cool. This is great. She came to you. Nice. Nice. And now you're just chilling. Now, okay. This is kind of more of an interesting situation, right? Should you be on something right now?
Well, it's looking kind of scary because Kiri's ult came out, so
Right, right. But Curious Ultimate or not, like if you
yeah, I
don't
probably
do
should have been on.
anything, if you don't do anything, this kind of is going to be really really scary for your team, and you need to kind of chill, take a little bit of attention off of your team. You need to live it though. And what's the problem with the position of this Kitsune and being able to live that attention?
By far.
Right. It's far and it's out in the open, which is another thing that we were kind of talking about when it comes to triggers. If this is not the space that you can comfortably, sustainably take a fight in, it's going to be really hard. So you're either going to have to kind of give up on trying to hard push this, or you're going to have to do something creative, try to make some rotations, at least like get over here to this side so that your range feels a lot more comfortable, but you're going to have to watch out for respawns. Right. I don't think there's
Mhm.
any respawns you have to be worried about because of the fact that like they're not running anything like an Ashe or something like that or a Widowmaker that are just going to come back out from spawn and just snipe you. But again, you still do have to kind of worry about it a little bit. But walking like this doesn't feel that great, right? Right. Walking like this could feel a little bit better, right? You even had, actually, no, you had Juno on you. Like this Juno was there for you, and you kind of got rid of this opportunity. So that would have been a W. She even tried to throw the speed ring at you while you were going to be over here, right? Like that would have been crazy, but you kind of gave up that angle like a little bit too free. Instead, right, you know things are going to happen. You don't have a position that is going to allow you to do that. You need to just use the chaos to take that position, right?
Okay.
Right, because then again, we like it when the fight goes away from our vulnerable teammates, not when the fight goes towards our vulnerable teammates, because now all the damage we're taking, our team is taking too, right? So this becomes, yeah, you get hit with with a rally, you get hit with like everything. This feels awkward. Now you're dead. Okay. All right, let's speed this up a bit. Does the timing feel good?
Yeah, because my team's also kind of going in
Right,
through
right, right,
main.
right, 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 right. Just pop it. Instantly pop it. You probably had the opportunity to look down and know that you were close to blade, right? Second you get the blade here, look at where you are. Look at where you are. Distance, your team's already fighting, right? Distance perfect. The space is perfect. HP levels of these heroes perfect, right? Just pop the freaking blade instantly and just go to town, right? But if you're not looking for the cues, you're going to wait too long on this. So let's see what you do. Case in point, right?
I think I egoed that.
You did
I
ego
was
it,
trying to.
right? You did ego it, but again, you had a button that allows you to ego, but you didn't use the button that allowed you to ego. You get what I mean? Right now,
Mhm.
the Orisa did kind of come in and help you and save you. I wouldn't have banked on that. That Orisa probably could have and should have shot at some other things that are happening around here, like the Sombra and the Venture, right, with the orbital. But at the same time, like just like you don't know what these guys are going to do, so just blade. Right, and you did ego that with deflect and with blade. That's kind of just sad. Okay. Fight's happening, so you need to get in. This is cheap. Right. This is on your angle. This is going to be a little bit more important than, going for the Doomfist, because this is close, and this is like right here with access to backline, right? This is kind of compressing your angle if you come back over here. This is deepening that angle, and this is going to give you a little bit more opportunity. Now, again, you don't want to go too far, but hitting these fights over here is going to be extremely important for you, right? I kind of get it. Like, Venture's going in Burrow. Doomfist is kind of not as close as, necessary. So going up here to stage for the blade is totally fine. You just need to know when to pop the blade. So when are you going to pop the blade? Right?
Like in the distance.
Like it's not,
Or,
you don't need to, you just need to look at the situation and be like, okay, I'm close, I can pop blade now. Right? Like, do you know kind of what's the best time to pop ultimates in a team fight?
Like at the peak of like cooldowns being used.
Right. And when is the peak of cooldowns being used going to happen?
Like when ultimates are popped, or like kind of like people are low.
No, 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 no. Okay, right. When it comes to Overwatch, when it comes to this game, right?
Hmm.
Here's the thing. This is a really important concept that I kind of need you to understand if you want to get really good when it comes to using ultimates, right? You want to use the ultimates really, really early in fights, and I'm going to kind of explain to you why. So, first of all, the time frame when you want to use big cooldowns, the time frame when you want to use big resources is that are not very easily renewable is going to be when the enemy is too close to be able to kite away from it, right? Because that's when it's going to have the biggest value. I don't want to pop Blade all the way out here because I'm not going to get anything out of it. I want to pop Blade when I'm here, right?
Hmm.
Now, the thing about ultimates though is that when you pop ultimates, when you use ultimates, your pressure potential goes up drastically and dramatically depending on the ultimate. If it's an ultimate like Blade, like that goes up a lot, right? You could do a whole lot on Genji. And in all of the time frame in which these guys have not used an ultimate while you've popped yours, you're at a significant advantage in comparison. So these guys have opportunities to kind of die or lose like really key cooldowns, right? While you're ulting and they're not. Problem is with distance is reciprocal. It goes both ways. If these guys are too close for or how do I say this? If you are too close for these guys to kite, then these guys are too close for you to kite, which essentially means that their ultimates are also going to be as hard to kite as your ultimates are going to be for them, right? So what that means is that the time frame in which both teams are going to want to pop their ultimates is generally speaking going to be simultaneous in most cases, right? And so because of that, and because whoever uses the ult has the most advantage in the coming fight because of the pressure potential and the ability to drain resources in that time frame that the enemy team hasn't used an ult yet, it means that when you get into that range where people aren't able to kite out of your ultimates, you want to pop your ultimates as fast as possible so that you give yourself the opportunity to, right? Because like what happens if you Blade early and you force Suzu, you force a lot of this Briggs HP and armor, you force your Sombra's TP, right? You force Venture's Burrow, you force Doomfist block, what if you force all of those cooldowns with one Blade and still live? You get no kills, sure, right? But how weak are the enemy team? Has the enemy team become? How hard is it going to be for them to actually apply pressure in this fight, right?
Yeah, my team can like follow up on it if
Right.
I do manage to live.
Right. So that's going to be your key thing. You never want to go for kills. You always want to go for space and resources. The kills are going to come as a result of that, right? So I have the ability to take this space. I have the ability to get a really, really big resource trade here. So I'm just going to go pop my Blade and I'm just going to go ham. They can't kite away from it. My team is fighting, so I can't get hard forced out. They can't afford to send 30,000 people to try and look at me because then my team just goes in for free, right? They're too close to be able to kite away from my ults. So this is my cue. This is my time. Right? Now, you didn't end up needing to pop your ultimate, but a lot of these times where you don't end up needing to pop your ultimate, the ult fight is kind of out of your hands. And the thing that I always say about ultimates and ult economy is that ult economy really only matters situationally. Winning the fight is more important, right? Because a really, really fun part about ultimates is that when you win fights, the more fights you win is the more ult charge you get, right? So if I use a Blade, kill like 2, and then clean up the rest of the fight, in that cleanup phase, I'm building like a large chunk of my ult for the next fight, right? And I'm just going to have Blade significantly faster again than another Genji that just saved Blade, for example, right? And then, wanted to try and use it next fight. I'm going to get more Blades, over time, essentially, right? So don't be too stingy with your ultimates, right? If you see an opportunity, if you have an opportunity, take it into your hands to be like, okay, I see my trigger. I'm going to go in and I have my plan. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. I like this discipline. Why don't you go for this venture here?
The that would be a terrible place to fight her, and Kiri could always just shift to her.
Right. Terrible place to fight her, number one. Number two, can my team help?
Nah. Oh yeah, the
No.
distance. Distance.
Right. So just holding here and being able to just stop them from just sitting here for free, totally worth it. Big W. Right. Okay. Is my team close?
Yeah.
So what should I pop?
Blade.
Yep.
But I think I pop it a little bit later.
Right. Now, again, if I go and I dash up here, pop blades, start getting big trades, not get everything that I want, and then end up being like, oh, okay, I guess, you know, this didn't work out too well, I can just dash out. Right? Again, it's also about how you actually go in for the blade. The problem is that your team is also here. Like, you've got Reaper here, you've got Orisa here. Now, Reaper is kind of going out and going on to point for some reason, right? Which is kind of stupid. But at the same time, you do have Orisa, which also has her ultimate as well. So she can just walk up, pop ult, and then also, like, in combo with you to kind of clear this fight up. So I see my Orisa kind of coming in, getting close, inching up. I'm going to be like, oh, this is a really good opportunity, especially against Brig, because Blade is so good into Brig, right? Like, you just eat her up. Kiriko, Blade is also pretty decent into because it's really easy to force TP and Suzu, right? So Venture, not as much, but, you know, it's still Blade, right? Okay. Right, now your Orisa did leave now because she's like, oh, there's nothing for me to do here, right? And that's why she left. So understanding that as well. Right, where's the blade? Where's the blade? No blade yet. It's okay. We're fine with that. We're fine with that. And nothing bad happened. It's okay. Just letting you know, if you want to be a lot more consistent, you probably could have had 2 blades in this time frame, if you get what I mean, right?
Yeah.
And then that happens. Okay. Right, and then here comes the problem. When you want to blade, there's a reason why you dash up and not in. The reason why you dash up and not in is so that, number one, you're coming in from an off angle where they have to turn their attention away, but where they're, number one, it's where their attention isn't already. Their attention isn't already there. If you're just dashing straight into them, you could be dashing straight into a Kiriko Kunai to the head, right? Like, you're going to increase your unluckiness this way. So you want to dash above their heads and then kind of give your blade some time to come out before you close the distance. Once you are here, though, this is one of the biggest this is one of the biggest bad habits of Genji players of all time, because of the fact that they're like, oh yeah, but the combo from whatever. I don't care about combos. What matters here is not getting a kill. What matters here is making sure that I don't give the enemy team an opportunity to kill me and end this game right now, which dashing through them for no reason, which isn't going to give you enough damage, by the way, to kill these guys, right, is not going to be the thing that I'm going to need. Because now you cannot avoid any of this. Right? And is that going to be game? Probably. Yeah, that's probably game. Okay. Right. So. Let's go in. Let me see. Can I find it? Yeah, this is perfect. Okay. Now let me see if my stuff is actually working today. Hold on. Let me fix this real quick. Okay. Do you see the writing on the screen?
Yeah. I see it.
Okay. Right. Now. One, two, three. What's three things that we learned today? What are three things that we can look at and we can practice? Give me one.
Uh, dis distance.
Okay.
Or like yeah,
So the concept of distance, right? And we're gonna break that up a bit better, right? What's gonna be number two?
two was hold on, I know it, but wait.
Okay.
Oh yeah, cues. That's what I was trying to remember.
Right.
Cues.
Cues, which is kind of going to be attached to distance in a certain way, but these are going to be a little bit more, you know, we can go a little bit more into them, right? And what's a third thing that we can kind of focus on from here?
Uh, Popping ultimates earlier was
Right. Okay.
probably a better move.
Alts. Right. Okay. So let's kind of separate these into
Yeah,
parts. So if we can separate distance into actionable kind of things that we can practice, what's going to be a big thing about distance, right? What's a big component
it's
of understanding distance,
like where am I and where the enemy is at,
right?
where my team is at.
Actually, let me hold on. Let me change distance over here. I kind of want to change distance because I think it'll be a little bit easier to change this to staging, right? Because that's practically what we were doing. So when it comes to staging, right, and you're talking about the where is your team, right? That's going to be an important part. Where is team, right? That's one big thing, right? What else is a really big thing when it comes to staging, right?
The where the enemy team is at.
Right. So how close is the enemy? Close is enemy, right? So these are going to be the two things. So where's my team, right? How or more importantly, how close they are, proximity, right? And how close is the enemy team? Because that and what is the how close the enemy team is? What is that going to tell you?
Can like engage.
Right. So then how do we tie that into cues? What are going to be the big cues that I'm going to look for?
Kind of like attention, like or where the enemy is just like at and like who's like shooting who.
Okay, can we make that a little bit more specific?
Yeah. Uh, Cooldown uses or like
Okay, so when I essentially want to go in, right, I look for, first of obviously, going to be 100% proximity, right? But actually, I think more importantly, what's the biggest thing that allows me, that enables me to kind of go in comfortably without necessarily fearing for me dying easily, right?
uh, I actually don't know like
It's kind of associated with this. It's kind of associated with this. Just more of like understanding can my team do what?
like just go like engage or like
Right. So
holding
team follow up. Oh my goodness, I cannot spell. Right? So can my team actually follow up is going to be my cue to go. What times would I not go even when my team can follow up?
probably like if we need to kite or like it's just like not really in our favor or wait, I'm trying to think of one like
Right.
Or like if they can't follow up,
Right.
or just
Okay. Okay. What about because we kind of talked about team follow up as a cue to go in, right? Remember all of the times that Doomfist was kind of inting into our back line, and I said don't kind of go and trade back into the enemy team. What was the cue that kind of told you that you didn't need
oh
to
yeah,
do that?
that he was just like hinting that we probably should,
Right.
or I probably just should have shot him.
Right. Enemy int. Right. So if the enemy is inting into your team, you don't need to essentially go in hard into theirs. You can just focus on dealing with the enemy first and then go in, right? But what was the other thing that told you where to stop, when to stop pushing forward, especially when we were talking about like those poke angles when we talked about the fight against the Brig and the Kiriko in the Kitsune on when it was later on in the game, like what is telling what where can I stop pushing forward, right?
Like that time where like it would just like not really be effective if I just
Right. So
kind of
the what?
peeked or poke.
Yeah. What was the big thing that you didn't have, that you didn't have the ability to force? That was going to be the big deciding factor as to whether or not you were going to get value or not in that engage.
Probably just like the distance, like being
Right.
right there. Like
Right. So it's going to be effective range, right? Can I get into my effective range? Can I force my effective range? If not, then I'm not going to go in rashly until I have an opportunity to do that. Right?
mm,
Okay. Now, when we were talking about your ultimates, what are some things that you notice that you need to work on?
probably just like popping it earlier rather than just holding it for
Mm-hmm.
like kills.
Pop, alt, early, right? And I'm going to put force CDs on it. Right? So force cooldowns with your ultimate, right? What about your ultimate? What's the thing that allows you to actually confirm kills after they chase or after they ran away from you?
Dash or
Right, right. So save your dash, right? And that's going to allow you to live more often and chase more often, right? And then one additional thing that I just kind of wanted to point out, right, is also just the idea of dashing up, right? So or maybe we're kind of more just along the lines of dashing in from an angle. So I'm gonna just say, no, not I'm not gonna just do that. I'm gonna say off angle, right? So dashing in from an off angle makes it a lot easier to confirm value off of that. All right. Now I have a question. Are you gonna take a screenshot of this? Or are you gonna write this down? What do you want?
I'll screenshot it. I got yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll just take a little screenshot as well and send it to you just for redundancy.
All right.
Right. OBKB. Right. So got that, and that is done. Do you have any further questions? Anything else I need to clarify?
I thought I thought everything was quite explained well.
Oh,
I think I know what to practice now.
okay, okay, all right. That's good. That's good. That's good. All right. So do you kind of have a clear idea of what to practice now? Let me just kind of
Yeah.
let me tell you right here and right now. Talking about practicing stuff. Again, I always say this: focus on one thing at a time, right? One small detail at a time. Don't try and add too many things. I want complete and utter focus on 100% focus on one subject at a time, right? Whether that's identifying where your team is, right? Whether it's identifying enemy distance for engages, right? Thinking about like am I in my effective range, right? Can I get into my effective range, right? Focusing on looking for those specific cues in game so that you can prime your brain to look for those cues, understand those cues, and execute off of those cues effectively, right? Then I kind of would recommend that you would focus on one thing for an entire game session. If you cannot do that, because I know that it's hard to to maintain focus for an extended period of time, is I would recommend just focus on making the first three team fights absolutely perfect on doing this one fundamental, and then after that you can kind of do whatever you want. But we would like to have full focus for the entire game on practicing this one particular subject, right? I just a disclaimer: you will suck, right? This is just a
Yeah.
guaranteed, right? It's going to happen. You're going to be focusing a whole lot on doing one particular thing. Your focus is going to drop on doing other things. That is okay, right? All that means is that when we start sucking, we're slowly getting better at doing the stuff that we want to do, right? And that's just what we need to kind of heavily focus on if we want to keep going forward, all right? So that's going to be the things. If I'm going to ask you to like practice certain things, right? I would start with staging first, right? I would make sure that your staging is really, really good and really strong. Looking at where your team is, looking at how close the enemy is for engages, right? Making sure that you're keeping that distance. That's a very important thing. That's gonna be a very important thing to focus on because that's gonna make everything else you do easier, right? Then from there, and once your staging is really good, you can start working on your cues for inting, right? Your cues for kind of press and W, looking for when those cues happen, being able to respond to them faster, practicing looking for those things and executing off of those things can be your next thing that's going to happen, right? That's going to really work out well for you. Then afterwards, I think you can start working a little bit more on your ults. Now, again, you don't have to work on these things in like a complete order, right? If you get bored of staging one game and you're just like, oh, okay, I want to just practice my ults this game, like sure, you can totally do that. I just would recommend that you stick to one thing per game, right? Give yourself ample breaks, and if you keep doing this and try not to, overwork yourself by like doing like 10-hour practice sessions or something like that. But if you focus on doing these things and you do these things really well, you're probably going to get a lot better. I saw like the Ilios game that you sent in. That was really good. That was really strong and solid. Fundamentally speaking, in terms of your staging, timing was off, right? But we
Mhm.
can we can definitely work on that. Your staging on that game was pretty good. I think that you're going to have a pretty decent time, especially on certain maps that are going to be more beneficial for you to stage in. You're going to have a pretty decent time with executing very well once you kind of build on these concepts and make sure that they're strong. But you need to make sure that they are strong and that they are perfect and that you can do them without even thinking about them. All right.
Yeah.
Any more questions than that?
I was just gonna ask like when should I like swap to a new concept, but then just kind of answered itself like until I'm just
Yeah.
able to, yeah, just able to do it
Right.
without thinking
Or
about
when
it.
you get bored. Right. The most important thing is the single most important factor to improvement in anything at all is how much you enjoy it. Right. If you are
Mhm.
enjoying it to a significant degree, or right, if you're kind of really heavily enjoying things, then that's gonna really boost your ability to focus. That's gonna really boost your ability to maintain focus for a long time, right? And that's going to help you with
Mhm.
your improvement on something. If something is boring you and it's really getting really annoying and you just hate playing the game at that point, either switch up to something else and do something else or just take a break, right? Because if we're not having fun, we're not focused. And if we're not focused, we're not learning and we're not improving. So that's a really, really important thing as well. Just keep that in mind. Take care of yourself. Make sure you're not beating yourself over the head with a stick. All right?
Yeah.
Okay, but if that's it, and if that's everything, then that will be all from me. Do you want to say goodbye to everyone watching the video?
Uh, Bye everyone
All right, all right.
for To the watching my VOD, I guess. I don't know how to conclude this exactly.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. Yeah, thanks everyone for watching my VOD, I guess. Yeah, no, I.
All right. I did not sound like that, dude.
All right.
All
Okay.
right. All right,
Um,
later. Thank you.
of course. All right. Peace, everyone.